Hello. So this is Harry from Purple Jam. Thought I'd do a quick sort of vlog, podcasty-esque update because it's been a few weeks and we've been cracking on. But obviously we haven't shown you that we've been cracking on. So I thought I'd do this. It's also going to be a bit of a talky one because what I've been working on for the past couple of weeks, other than getting Sands of Eden out, is one of the levels, the next level of the main game, which is set in sort of a jungle-esque sort of biodome environment. And as such, I've yet to do the sound design because I've been setting up the various systems we have across the whole game. So what's particularly interesting from a gameplay and a programming perspective in this level, what makes it unique relative to the others, is that you enter into the arena, and I'll try and do this without spoilers. One of the mechanics is you're moving towards a certain sound, like a voice or whatever, of one of the main characters, and you're moving through based on that. But also, I wanted to get into this level a sort of general sense of progression towards a place just from other entities around you moving in that direction. So rather than it being a specific go towards this single point source of audio, you've got a herd of elephants and a troop of monkeys and a tiger and a shoebill and a number of other things all moving towards one source, as well as sort of the single point source. So you get a general sense of progression towards a space, and it's very open in its design, because at this point within the story you've just come out of a very confined sewer-like space, and so you've had all these difficult corners to get round, which use a lot of occlusion sort of puzzles, and it's been pretty harrowing with all the ghouls and things. And then what we want to create is the sense that you open out into this huge, luscious environment, and you're free to walk directed, so not in an undirectional sense, but more or less in any direction as long as it's sort of vaguely forward. So we wanted to get that sort of gameplay dynamic within the level. Other than that, in terms of progress, Connor's been primarily focusing on the Noir game that's coming out. Jord has been doing some sound design for all sorts of things, and he's in charge of doing the marketing and whatnot. That's what we've been doing. A personal highlight for me this week is I've got to program a dinosaur and how that might behave within a space and interact with other animals, and get a little bit of a simulated ecosystem going on in this biodome level. So that's what I'm doing. The rest of the game is sort of slowly moving into better shape. So for those of you who have backed the Kickstarter at the £50 tier, you will have been able to play the sewer level build, which uses a sort of tile-based procedural level making system, and you have to move away from ghouls and move towards the direction and whatnot. You also will have played what will be the first level in the game, which is, or at least the first half of the first level of the game, which is you get introduced to Finn, one of the main characters, and move from the Nightlander's base into a sort of arid desert, not like a sandy desert, but more like sort of southern states of America type desert thing. So arid landscape, not desert, in fact. And then you move into a pumping station, which is this big sort of factory-esque, lots of metal groaning type sound. So you would have been able to play all that, and we've done vlogs on that stuff in the past. So that's where we're at. As regards release, the goal is still end of October, but given COVID-19, and COVID-19 is also the reason you haven't seen a blog with all three of us for a long time, or heard a vlog with all three of us at once for a long time, because obviously we can't all be in the same space legally, or haven't been able to anyway. And a couple of us also have high risk relatives who we see more regularly. So that has delayed things slightly. But yeah, don't worry. We are cracking on. It's sounding great. The gameplay's really interesting. It's really exciting time to be working on the game at the moment. Yeah, so I hope you pick up Sounds of Eden. It's only £2, should be out on all platforms. It's pretty interesting. Those funds from like Audio Pong and Sounds of Eden, they go back into finishing the game. Obviously we can finish it without that through the Kickstarter funds, but it all gets pumped into producing more audio games and trying to really push the genre forwards. That's what we're about, making compelling audio games that are inherently accessible. Yeah, so have a lovely week, and I'll get back to you next week or the week after with some vlogs. And Sounds of Eden's out on the 7th of August. That's been a bit of a pet project of mine personally. George's done some sound design for it, and Connor's done a little bit of writing, and then we had a couple of interns through the University of Derby do some sound design for it as well. But yeah, that's been a bit of a pet project of mine, and it's something I sort of play myself in the morning just to chill out a little bit, or I find a space and set it going whilst I'm doing, admin-y stuff, anything that doesn't involve sound design. Yeah. Okay, that's enough waffle, I think. Have a lovely week, and I'll speak to you soon.